Hi there, very good evening. Welcome along to Friday night here at the MODUS Super Series. We know half of the field for tomorrow's finale at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. We'll finalise the last three names over the course of the next 3 hours or so. And there's two players that will feel like they're knocking on the door towards finals night, whereas the last spot could well be up for grabs. This is the story of the first evening's play.
Mike Norton failed to get a victory on his opening night at the Super Series. Work to do on day 2 for the Ironman. As for Lee Cox, he got the better of Mike Norton in the final game of the evening. 2 points gives him a glimmer of hope of making it through. As far as Carlo Vampire is concerned, 2 victories on his opening night sees him third in the table. But there are 2 runaways at the top of the pile. Justin Smith was the most consistent player over the course of the evening. 3 wins from 4 means that he's very close to qualifying for tomorrow evening's finale. But Andy Boulton was perfect on night 1, winning 4 from 4. We may just see some Saturday night X Factor tomorrow evening.
We were watching all the action last night in the company of primetime Matthew Edgar, who joins us again now. But before we talk about this evening's affairs, let's have a little bit of a chat about this afternoon, because we confirmed the places of Darren Armstrong and Danny Jansen through to the finals tomorrow night. Begin by talking about Darren, ultra consistent throughout the course of the week. God is just desserts, it felt in the end.
It was great to listen to him at the end of the show as well and sort of hear what he had to say and his sort of summary of it. He came here with no real expectations but a hope that he would get through to Saturday, and he did. So really good on debut to get that far, but I really was impressed with his performance. Great consistency, moments of brilliance. He's going to be a tough nut to crack.
He's going to be joined by Danny Jansen, number 1 on the Challenge Tour Order of Merit in the finals tomorrow evening, and Conor Heenan, of course, booked his place on Wednesday. Right, let's have a look at Group B then, because that is what we're focusing on this evening. It's Andy Boulton that leads the way following the first night's play, alongside Justin Smith there, Conor Heenan, Armstrong, Jansen through, and you feel like Boulton is probably just the winner way, you'd say, from getting through.
I said that before a dart was even thrown. I thought Andy Boulton looked head and shoulders above this group. He's got the best CV, he's got the highest ceiling, he's got the most experience, he's got all the ingredients to bake up a really good Group B cake. And I think he's going to be the icing on top and the cherry. Wouldn't be surprised to see him win all 8.
So Boulton leads the way, but the other impressive performer yesterday was Justin Smith. Now, we asked a couple of questions about Justin around about this time yesterday, but if you break down the performances, a very short range between his results and his averages yesterday. It's the kind of consistency which we've been kind of wanting from him for a little while.
And him himself, you asked me these sort of questions yesterday and I sort of gave you my theories and answers on them, and then we heard from Justin, who said exactly the same sort of thing, just confirmed them, that he's very aware of the issues that are there, which are that sort of lack of a consistent base. He knows he can come here one day and throw 4 games of 100 average and then come the next day and throw them all in the 70s. And it's bridging that gap between the two, because it is literally title or nothing with Justin Smith. And he's alluded to the fact that he feels he knows what he's done wrong. And on the evidence of yesterday, maybe we're going to start to change the narrative. Maybe we're going to speak differently about Justin Smith, because maybe he's learning from the experience that he's gaining here at the Super Series.
Then we've got an interesting race for 3rd place, it seems anyway, in the group. 3 players all in that mix, but it is advantage Carlo Vampire.
Big advantage to Carlo as well, but don't discount anybody in this. I had a bit of a chat with Mike Norton tonight just to see where he is with it. He's very well aware that he's got a chance still of qualifying, despite the fact he's sat at the foot of the table. So he's still in with a chance. He feels he's got a chance. As long as he feels he's got a chance, he's always going to have one. And he's actually starting off with the ideal fixture.
Let's have a look at the betting then for this evening's action. So Andy Boulton, perhaps not a surprise, goes out the 2 to 5 favourites go on and win the group. And Andy's not the type of player that you would say when he's got a foothold in a group will relinquish it lightly.
Now, can we see the bet builder? That one's done, I think. Andy Boulton to take the victory. I thought before it was gone, but more so now. I cannot see Andy Boulton not taking this group.
Is it Matthew Edgar or Chris Mason alongside with this evening? I don't quite know. Right, let's have a look at the bet builder. If it is Chris Mason alongside, we want to get some Spider-Man pyjamas in the building right now. Pace just over 6-1 this evening. Carlo Van Peer in the player handicap stakes. Smith to get the better of Cox, and then the Norton Smith game. Most 180 is 6-5. 6-1 treble, 18 plus, begambleaware.org. You're having a flutter on the suits. Let's talk about tonight then more generally, Matt, because we know Andy Boulton's in a good suit. We know Justin Smith's in a good suit. Now, out of the pair, who would you expect to have the better evening?
Andy Boulton. I can't get away from him. It's all for me, Andy Boulton. It is the star act in this group, is the man to beat. No one's done it yet. And there's a small list of people that have gone through the card and got the 8 from 8. I think we're going to add his name.
He's been saying it from the first start as well. I've got to give credit where credit's due. Right, Matt, thank you for now. I'll see you in the commentary box in a few moments' time. And you can join us here at the Super Series on a Saturday evening. The live lounge reporter opens up its doors for a finals night party here in Portsmouth. And if you want to be a part of it, then take a look at this.
Every Saturday, we open our doors for our weekly finals night.
For a unique and intimate darts experience.
Meet the Dart Stars and even the team off the telly
Here at our purpose-built venue in Portsmouth.
every single Saturday evening.
Tickets can be booked via this QR code.
Or at www.dartshop.tv for a very small booking fee.
Follow us at MSS Darts on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and TikTok.
For all the latest ticketing news.
All you need to do, log on, book, turn up, and the action gets underway from 7:30 p.m.
So what are you waiting for?
Get your tickets to the darts.
We look forward to welcoming you to the MODUS Super Series very soon.
And so, Carlo Van Peer and Mike Norton get the evening's action underway. Norton without a win on night one. As for Van Peer, well, if he can win this particular match, he puts himself in a very promising position. Has to be said, he'd move on to 6 points, be level with Justin Smith. And then having a look at the way that the fixtures will occupy for the rest of the evening, well, his next game in action will be against Andy Boulton, but then for the rest of the night, he will feel that the games will be more suited to him. So let's find out more about the two players that are in action then this evening. We will kickstart by having a look at Carlo Van Peer. On debut here at the MODUS Super Series this week, age 31, brother of Berry, who actually had a win on the European Tour this afternoon. Former semi-finalist when it came to the PDC Challenge Tour, up against Mike Norton, who career in darts has only spanned about 10 years now. Started at the age of 50, now age 60 from Western Supermare. Made it through to the second round of the UK Open, where he lost out to a certain Raymond van Barneveld back in the Beast from the East year over in Minehead. But who is going to be the Super Series beast and who is going to be the best come Saturday night at the live lounge? It's an answer we're going to find out over the next 24 hours or so.
Game on!
Well, one thing we can guarantee is that man Owen Binks is going to be here. Our referee throughout the duration of the week. And the first visit of the night is a fairly big one for Carlo Van Peer.
If you had gone to Mike Norton and said, right, Mike, you can have the fixtures how you want them tonight. Who do you want to play in what order? He would have said, first up, I want to take on Carlo Van Peer, and then I want to take on Lee Cox. It's worked out perfect for Mike Norton to play himself into contention in this group, because the two people that are above him battling out for that third place, he's got to take on first.
And beyond that, you then have that hope that naivety kind of creeps in with both Boulton and Smith. And you hope that by that point that they're both through. And so they're actually, the foot may be taken off the gas a little bit and they may be able to take full advantage as a consequence of it. Van Peer first to a finish on the 144. Is not going to go on this occasion. He has got 6 on here to take out the opening leg. Does the Dutchman.
30. Carlo, you require 180.
So 118 for Carlo to take out the opening leg. 98 left. Pitch below. And because of the way that the dart laid, he went across to the 18s. And of course, there wasn't any pressure put on it by Norton.
140.
There's a bit of pressure from Mike Norton, who's not started as fast as he did last night.
44.
But he will get an opportunity to break the throw of Carlo Van Peer. Just needs to find the one treble, which he does. For tops.
74. Carlo, you require 20.
Moved the wire.
Game shot on the first leg.
The first leg is in the leisure of Carlo Van Peer. He moves in front, takes the opening rubber of the evening, does the Dutchman. And you get the sense that Carlo will feel if he can win this one, he can, well, basically tick somebody off the list. He can tick Mike Norton off and say, right,
25.
He's somebody not in my periphery now. And then Lee Cox is the next one in his sight.
86.
And you try and depose of him as much as possible. In some ways, you then hope that Mike Norton's part of a tag team for you to try and stop the assault of Cox.
60.
Did have a really good chat earlier on with Mike Norton, partly because I wanted to have a throw of his darts. You know, slightly unusual set here. You'll see they are darts. Also can be doubled up as a set of javelins. Some of the longest points I've ever seen. Really did sort of flatten the dart out when I threw that one. The balance point completely changes when you start tinkering with the equipment, and it's not just on the front side, it's actually got a really long stem on there as well.
140.
Makes you think maybe the plan was he was just hoping to hold the flight and just try and lean over and put them in.
It's amazing what happens when you've got Super Series on Friday, but Paris 24 on Saturday.
60. Carlo Require 160.
160 for a 2-0 lead. Another one of them would have given him a dart at tops. I promise you that was a dart for the treble 20.
80. Mike Require 116. $100. Carlo Require 80.
Beautiful leave from Mike Norton. But will he get the opportunity? A little bit awkward there, just a little shimmy to the right-hand side to open up the bed.
Mike requires 16.
Tend to get that with the darts that just have that slightly upwards angle.
Game shot on the second leg.
And Norton levels up 1-1 in his opening game of the night. You may remember yesterday evening that each of the first three games went the distance.
Game on.
His meeting yesterday was one quite comprehensive by Carl. Actually finished the night off quite strongly. 95.5 average en route to a 4-1 win against the man from Western Supermare, who would have felt that his first night's play was a bit of a Western Supermare. Well, we're going to show you the overhead angle, the way the darts go in the board,
40.
and we can show you a little bit more the way that Mike Norton's darts, they always kick up to the side, don't they?
Yeah, that will be down to the length and the way in which he grips the darts. They are an extraordinarily long dart. The balance point actually works out to be
96.
Quite far down the barrel. Much closer to the point than you'd imagine. But you can use them well.
135.
The way his darts kick in there and kick to the side, you could see that there was barely any room there for Norton. Just tried to squeeze it in the smallest of corners.
77.
Might have been better advised to come downstairs.
$81.
A decent start here from Mike Norton. Trying to keep tabs with Carlo Van Peer, the player currently sat in third place in the table on 4 points.
56. Mike Require 136.
Well, Norton knew he needed to find a break at some point in this match. This may well be the most ideal opportunity to get it.
96.
He's going to get 3 darts at double top upon his return to lead 2-1 and to really take a stranglehold in the opening game of the evening session.
45. Mike Require 40.
tops for Norton.
Game shot
In
the
we go.
further.
2-1 he
Mike
leads.
Norton.
Accrues the break. And now finds himself in a real promising
it's
position
Mike
as far
to
as this
throw
game is
first.
concerned. It's a shake of the head
Game
for
on.
Carlo Vampire. Because he knows if he wins this game, he has got that third spot on lock.
100.
Basically, Mike Norton and Lee Cox have been in a position where he's padlocked the group or padlocked his
60.
position together, but they're looking to find a paperclip and hoping that one of them unlocks the key.
$140.
Carlo really came out the traps flying, didn't he, in that
57.
opening leg? But since then, it's all been about Mike Norton, and he's absolutely dominant in this display so far. Looking extremely good once again.
89.
Did get a couple of 90 averages last night, and that is where he's heading in the opening game so far.
134. $100.
Well, Mike was fairly philosophical about his performances last night. He had reason to do so. He played okay, played well. 96.12 average, was 8 out of 30 in terms of the dummy, so just
60.
under a
Mike
third, which
Norton,
kind of
72.
caused a few problems later on. And it's the big number that's causing the problems for Norton here. But he has got time on his hands, so he doesn't have to chase around the bullseye and
32.
so on and so forth. And he squares up once again for tops.
Sensible play there from Mike Norton. I'd like to say using all his experience, but only picked a set of darts up when he was 50.
No score.
How big of a chance will that turn out to be? Because Carlo got a chance now to break the throw of Mike Norton and reinstall himself as a favourite to go on in this fixture.
Double top.
45.
Break back chance have come and gone, and so
Maguire,
Norton
40.
to really stretch away his authority in the game.
Game
Pins
shot
a
the
double 10
forfeit.
to take a
Mike
3-1
Norton.
advantage.
Most important exchange so far of this
Flair
game.
gets Carlo to throw first.
Could be a massive
on.
exchange when we analyse the qualifiers for this group come the end of the night.
180.
He's up and running in the maximum column so far tonight. The first one of the evening goes away at Carlo Vampire. He did it 3 last night.
125.
He was a bit starved of the big finishers though, wasn't we? Had plenty of maximums,
38.
but only a 161 from Justin Smith and a 138 from Andy Boulton, which came in the same game.
100.
I think if we were to describe the story of last night, it was efficient without looking flashy. Like, there wasn't a bad
96.
performance in there. In fact, over the course of the evening, it was only one average below 80. That was Mike Norton in the last game of last night, and he averaged 79.61. So the standard wasn't bad,
54.
not in the slightest. But there wasn't much that looked marquee.
95.
And Pierre on the cusp of bringing one back, but he knows this is with the darts, and so he's going to have to break Mike Norton in the bet. If you're 3-1 down, you don't want to be in that position, but at least it's this way round for him. Only has to find the one break to win the match.
39.
But it might be the last dart he throws in the
Maguire,
match, because Norton is looking at
122.
1-2-2 to complete the job. Another one of them leaves double 7. And it's the issue because of the dart that he's got so much more. It's the guide on the treble 18 is good, but the guide on the
82.
singles not.
I think he did go for the treble as well there. A couple of sloppy darts from both players.
Game shot on the fifth leg.
Carlo
Carlo
is the
Vampire.
man who gets over the line. This will be the leg that when Mike Norton took the 3-1 lead, he'd been eyeing up.
It's Mike to throw first.
The one he'd be
Game on.
expectant to get the job done. That first dart will just settle him down. As soon as you see that dart go in the red,
87.
you know you've done the minimum requirement when you throw in first in a leg.
83.
Mike has come prepared for all eventualities this evening. Of course, he wants to get through to the finals, and that is very much his aim. He's
44.
come close to qualifying on a couple of occasions without getting to a Saturday night. But if it's not to be for him this evening, he's going to be making the trip over to Reading for the World Seniors, where we've had the first
21.
Open Series event of the weekend this evening. We'll tell you more about that in just a second. And then he'll be playing in those particular sets of events.
100.
It's going to give the Champions qualifier a miss due to the fact that he's due one more piece of surgery, and the due date for that bit of surgery
134.
overlaps with that particular competition, and basically he doesn't want to go and qualify and then not be able to play knowing he had the operation and stop somebody else from having an
44.
opportunity.
Well, speaking of opportunity, he may have just given an opportunity to Carlo Van Peer here to
58.
step in, which he's not able to find a treble. We're getting into key, crucial moments now where any mistake could be fatal.
100.
First to a finish, Mike Norton.
$85.
Carlo
Require 126.
on the better finish, but very, very slightly. But Mike Norton gets first poke. It's going to be a dart at the ball.
101. Carlo
Match
require
start.
120.
Come and gone for Mike Norton. Will he be getting more? Single for double. For double.
82.
But just the other side.
Mike require 25.
The width of the wire, the smallest of margins, may be the difference between victory and defeat.
That is awkward.
Game,
But he has
shot,
somehow
and
found a way
Mike
of
Norton.
sneaking that into the top corner. And Mike Norton beats Carlo Van Peer 4-2. I think he's been watching Louis Williams this week. It's a W for Norton. He gets over the line, averaging 82.04. 4 from 13 when it came to the doubling for Carlo Van Peer. A sub-80 average. And suddenly from a position where he really could have put it in his own hands, he's got a little bit of work to do. Coming up after the break, Justin Smith against Andy Bolt. And because of that win for Mike Norton, any win tonight for Boulton, and he is through. Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where before the break we saw Mike Norton get his first win of the group, getting the better of Carlo Vampire by 4 legs to 2, averaging 82.04. Had to swerve a few missed doubles along the way, but he got over the line nonetheless. Next up for us, Andy Boulton, for whom any victory this evening will be enough to send him into the finals tomorrow night. Takes on Justin Smith. And this was the game yesterday that really caught light as far as Group B is concerned. He's a former winner of a week here, is Justin Smith, but that was in 2022, where he also won his Solitary Challenge Tour title. But Andy Boulton really was one of the players of 2023. He won 2 weeks. He missed out in a final when his opponent was averaging in excess of 109. This could be a real interesting affair, and if it's anything like yesterday's meeting, expect fireworks.
These are the top 2 players, according to the odds compilers, according to the CVs, according to darting top trumps here at the Super Series.
Justin to throw first. Game on.
And if there is anybody that's going to stop Andy Boulton, this is your man, Justin Smith. Can throw some scary stuff at times, a very natural player.
100.
That win in the last game for Mike Norton, though, it's mapping out okay for him, isn't it? Because his next game's against Lee Cox. Lee Cox now moves to the bottom of the table due to those points that Mike Norton's got, so he could find himself on 4 before Carlo Vampire has a
60.
chance to go back out there and try and defend that position.
Well, one of the features of yesterday evening for Justin Smith was hitting maximums at the beginning of legs. Even though he'd never follow it up in the perfection scale, it gave him a platform to build.
57.
And in terms of his doubling stats, 14 out of 33 attempts at the double yesterday,
100.
which is elite when it comes to this level.
60.
I think that's the case in point that we speak about with Justin Smith, and the one he's very aware of himself. Kicks off with a maximum, the 180, and then doesn't find a treble for the next 9 darts.
66.
That would have let Andy
Justin,
Boulton back in, but
147.
a wayward visit there for Boulton.
95.
Well, it's been a slow start from Andy Boulton's high standards. And so Justin Smith has had
99.
what you would say against him is a relatively
Justin,
comfortable leg on
52.
throw, even though it is comfortable. Boulton will still apply pressure. Double 16.
Game show
Justin Smith
leg.
takes the opening
Justin
leg.
Smith.
He leads 1-0.
Second leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
Just goes to show the damage of a 180 when you've got the darts. Didn't find much else in that leg, but damage done on
60.
the opening 3.
And
And now puts the Boulton throw under a bit of pressure. You said at the beginning of the evening that you fancied Andy Boulton to go back to back in terms of card completed nights.
100.
Would you say that this is the most difficult trip to the well that he's going to have this evening?
This is the threat without a doubt. Justin Smith's also got that
100.
potential to go through the card. We've seen some very, very impressive stuff from him over the years. He's been playing in this series and this environment.
37.
Won a week here in a previous series. Beat Martin Adams in the final game.
135.
That was a risky play there for Justin Smith. Had he hit the single, would not have been able to have left a finish. no harm done in the fact that he managed to find the treble, but
Justin, you require 126.
they're the sort of shots, those percentages that you're not always going to get away with.
Just needs a solitary treble to get a dart of the bull. But he's not going to find it, and even though it's been a group lacking in terms of big time plus
58.
finishes,
And you require 144.
Boulton has always got an outside chance when it comes to shots like this. He's not going to take out the 144, but Smith's going to return for 68 to get the break and lead 2-0.
44. Justin, you require 68.
And just to put you in the picture, it would mean that both would be 4 points clear with Carlo Van Peert. Boulton does take on Carlo next. Double 16 for Smith.
36.
Doesn't go, and so Boulton
And he
returns for a
require
ton on the
100.
nose.
Not yet gone into full swing, Andy Boulton, but these are the sort of shots that can change your fortunes.
60. Justin, you require 32.
And so back for 2 16s.
Game shot on the
6
second
visits
leg.
is enough
Justin
again
Smith.
for Justin Smith. He opens up a 2-0 advantage. Now, the reason I say that this could be significant, because
So
if
against
Justin Smith
Justin to
wins,
throw
he'd be on 8,
first.
Boulton would be on
Game
8.
on.
But the next game for Andy Boulton is against Carlo Van Peert. Now, what he can do is put himself through automatically with a win against
100.
Carlo. But if Justin was to win this game and Boulton won that game, Justin Smith will look very, very comfortable. He will be feeling as if he is almost home and hosed at that particular point. And what it would also do is below him in the league table would open up a little can of
57.
worms.
Here comes Andy Boulton, though. Second maximum of the game, 1 apiece.
32.
The slumber is fairly much over now.
140.
You see the demeanour change on the face of Andy Boulton here. He's gone just from looking a bit fidgy, a bit agitated to full-on business mode now. Wants to get the job done at the earliest possibility, and that is by beating Justin Smith.
Game
An
shot on the
11
third
darter for
Andy
Andy Boulton. He is up and running. And that is one of the breaker throws that he's going to need to turn this fixture around.
Full flag, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
A lot less deliberate as well at the minute, isn't Andy Boulton? He's
100.
found the rhythm, found the range, found his comfort spot up there.
140.
I was having a chat with Justin earlier, and he was fairly relaxed, and he's one of those players
99.
that, because he plays the game with a maverick flair, and because the way he just goes about his business, when he's relaxed, that's when we expect the best from him.
81.
Almost the worst thing that he can do is think.
$77.
Just getting a little bit fidgety again here, Andy Boulton. Just almost symbolising that he's a bit tight in the shoulders.
94.
Is it too obvious to say it's just a case of maybe it's day 5 and that could be an effect?
Oh, absolutely.
100.
It's tough, it's grueling.
And it require 131.
He's going to set this one up nicely, but Justin Smith
91. Justin, you require 80.
has these sort of shots for breakfast.
May look at treble 13 here. Did do, would have left him a dart at tops, and that is exactly what Boulton wants to square this match up.
39.
And as quickly as Justin
And he
Smith built
required
up a lead
40.
in this game, Well, it's been twice as quick. Boulton's broken it down. Big dart. And the significance of it means that Boulton just takes a step back. Smith is lurking in the background. And he's going to get a go. He's going to get 2 darts for 3-1.
And significantly, a breaker throw. Could be a fatal mistake there from Andy Boulton, and he's going to pay the ultimate price. What could have been, should have been a level game. Justin Smith has pounced on the opportunity and will now have 2 opportunities if he needs them with the darts to give Andy Boulton his first defeat of this Group B campaign and put Justin Smith in similarly a very strong position.
And kicks off with a 2 treble turn, forcing Boulton out to bat straight away.
100.
Not quite the rip-roaring numbers that we saw last night, but it's been a fairly solid contest nonetheless. 88.95 for Justin Smith, 91.29 for Andy Boulton.
$77.
But it all could be down to those 3 missed darts in the previous leg for Boulton, as Justin Smith
140.
now begins to make an assault towards the finishing line. Only a maximum will do here for Andy Boulton.
I feel Andy Boulton's going to need a similar favour from Justin Smith in the aspect of missed darts at double. It might even need to be more than 3.
That's perfectly sat. It's 8-8 for the match.
128.
Just inside. But he is going to have time.
$60. Justin, you
3 more at double
8.
4 to condemn Andy Boulton to his first defeat of the evening. It would put him top of the table. And Justin Smith will assault to the summit. The bearded dragon inflicts Andy Boulton his first defeat of this Group B campaign. It means the pair are now locked on 8 points, plus 7 legs difference of Justin Smith now compared to the +5 of Boulton. Sees him leapfrog him in the table. That's a tell of the tape from that one. A 92.09 average, 4 from 7 on the finishing. It was a solid performance that from the bearded dragon. Right, coming up after the break, we're going to see Mike Norton up against Lee Cox. This is a big battle in the race for 3rd place, and the winner will have a huge advantage in taking on Carlo Vampire. Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where before the break, Justin Smith got the better of Andy Boulton by 4 legs to 1. Averaging 92.09, 4 from 7 on the doubles. It now means we have co-leaders at the top of the group, Justin Smith and Andy Boulton, both on 8 points respectively. But we're now looking at the race for the final position through to tomorrow night's final. Smith and Boulton, of course, can be called, but it looks unlikely now. Van Peer on 4 points in third. Norton and Cox both on 2 points apiece, and they go toe-to-toe in the third match of the evening session. I'm Henry Deacon in commentary with you, and talking sense through the action is Matthew Edgar.
I'm actually really looking forward to this game. Mike Norton won his last one. That was a vital game against Carlo Van Peer. But Lee Cox now has got an open door, an invitation to get himself into the mix here. He's had plenty of opportunities now at the Super Series. He'll be the first one to say he probably expected a little bit more from his
60.
time down here in Portsmouth. But he has been knocking on the door. He's been coming very, very close. And this fixture could be key. Not just for Lee Cox, but for Mike Norton.
The meeting yesterday was won by
60.
Lee by 4 legs to 3. It was a very even affair. Mike Norton missing 6-match darts in the end to get over the line. Cox averaging 90.31, 4 from 9 when it came to the finish. And when he had an opportunity, he by and large gobbled it up. Norton averaged 90.5, but 10 missed darts. The double came to cost him.
$100.
Price Lee Cox as the 8-15 favourite with the bookies before this one got underway.
97.
Yeah, I can't say I fully agree with that. I think it should have been a bit tighter on that one. Mike Norton has got the advantage of throwing first.
100.
He's had a game on the stage already, which is a positive, and it was a positive experience in the fact that he's already won a match up there tonight. So there's plenty of ticks in the box of Mike Norton to suggest that that one, I think if I was pricing this, I'd be going sort of 10 to 11 apiece.
Norton 53 to
Mike required 53.
take out this opening leg. It's going to be 2 darts at tops. He only needs the one. Norton leads 1-0. And maybe Iron Mike is making an assault on this Friday night.
Second against Lee to
He
throw
believes he
first.
can do it. I spoke to him already tonight. He firmly believes that he can turn this around and go from the bottom with 0 points
100.
and end up here tomorrow night playing for a place at Champions Week. The biggest Champions Week in Super Series history. £25,000 the prize fund these days. As if 20 grand weren't enough. You now get another 5.
98.
Is that exciting? Matthew Edgar's gone all high-pitched. That was Matthew Edgar saying that sentence, not me.
45. $64.
Big saving dart there for Lee Cox. In games like this, every single visit becomes important because you tend to find that you start living and breathing sort of every single moment. The big blows against you do land. The misses feel so much more important.
100.
A mini opportunity here presenting itself for Mike Norton if he can hit big.
99. Lee require 139.
To set it up here.
$99.
Good dart that from Lee Cox.
120.
Big safe dart in the big 20. Stay well and truly away from the treble. Mike Norton doesn't stay away from the treble. It's exactly what he
Game shot
wanted.
the second
And a
round.
hit again. Mike
Mike
Norton. Look at Lee Cox at the back of the stage, was shaking his head. He believes he's seen all this
Telling it's
before.
Mike to throw first.
Because
Game on.
he believes, and at times you'd have to say rightly so, when he comes here, people just seem to play their best
180.
performances against him. Remember last time when he averaged nearly 91 for the whole campaign? That's over 8 matches. And he finished bottom of the table.
100. $60.
You begin to get the sense that Lee Cox had such bad luck here that he's almost walked past a mirror shop in the middle of an
60.
earthquake.
$60.
Made it through once in Series 1, but has not been able to unlock the key ever since. And say he's had so many near
100.
misses. It has been post hit after post hit. But does it get to a point where you just
81.
possibly try too hard and that applies pressure on yourself and it can sometimes make you tense up a little bit?
140. Might require 120.
If this goes again, my eyes would have gone straight to Lee Cox.
60. Lee require 101.
It's 101. It's still on. But he's going to have to go route 1. It's not going to go, and so Norton for a 3-0 lead.
Mike requires 60.
Massive moment in the context of this group.
$52. Lee required
An
32.
opportunity for Lee Cox that maybe he thought he wasn't going to get.
Game shot on the third.
This one he grabs,
Lee
but
Cox.
only just. Back we go. Cox breaks 2-1.
Fourth leg, it's Lee to throw first.
One thing you always find
100.
talking to Lee here at the Super Series is always wants to make sure he does himself justice. And I think sometimes
125.
he can beat himself up too much by trying to do that because we've never seen Lee Cox play here and play poor.
No, you're absolutely right in the fact that Lee Cox feels like he wants to do justice every time he's here. However, with that in mind, does that mean then that Lee Cox feels he's always got
60.
something to prove?
$60.
There's got a lot of people that have backed him over the last couple of years, and I also feel like he owes it to them to try and
60.
show
He
them that their
required
trust was well
167.
placed. And if he was to miraculously pull off the powers of recovery and make it through, I think we'll see a different version because I think the shackles will be well and truly off.
100. He requires 72.
There's that point, isn't there, where you just want it a bit too much.
Game
Big
shot on the
dart,
fourth
big
leg.
fight,
Lee
2-2.
Cox.
You often find when there's something you want, you build it up so much in your mind and how it's going to be and what it's going to be like that actually when you get there, you go, oh, is that it? I know I certainly had that experience myself when I played at the World Championships and
180.
spoke to a lot of players about that experience. Luke Humphries, our world #1 and world champion, said exactly the same. It was sort of an
59.
underwhelming experience. You expect to be sort of inundated with feelings and emotions. I sort of get that feeling with Lee
44.
Cox. He's got an idea of what it's going to be like when he gets to where he wants to get to. And when he does, it'll be like, oh, is that it? Oh, I can do that all the time.
60.
Was that what it felt like when you hit a 170 to beat Gary Anderson?
No, that was slightly different.
99.
Slightly different because it never happened again?
Never will happen again, will it?
140.
Some people say, got the T-shirt. No, I've got the dartboard.
Nothing says modesty about your
91.
achievements more than a dartboard about your greatest accomplishment. Norton
60.
87 for a 3-2 lead.
Michael
And
McGuire, 87.
the hard work that Lee has put in could well be undone in this particular visit. Doesn't have to scratch around the surface of the bullseye. And so it is treble 10 for double top.
67.
He will come back, but it's sort of a hold your breath moment now. Mike Norton had opportunities in this game to be 3-0 up.
58.
Mr. Dart at tops,
Michael
Mr.
McGuire,
Dart at
20.
tens. It's the same target now, double 10.
No score.
And again finds the
He
wrong
required
double.
124.
Last time he went high on the double six. This time he goes low. Can Lee Cox find a haymaker blow? He's got a shot.
76.
But he couldn't
Michael
take
McGuire,
advantage
20.
of it. And so Norton comes back for double 10.
Gauge on
Pins the
fifth
double
there.
10.
Mike Norton.
And leads 3-2. Well, this really has been a game of swings and roundabouts so
St.
far.
Fergus lead to
Mike
third.
taking the early running. Lee moving his way back. And now Norton putting his nose back in front. And Lee
85.
throwing to stay in the contest.
$60.
If you're a bit of a watcher as well at the back of the stage, it can be awkward when you watch these players who have
100.
long points. I remember standing behind Justin Pipe on many occasions. His lied down as well. You could never tell where there was. You'd take a look and go,
82.
ah, great, is it a 60? And then mark up a 180. No.
140.
Don't know why. You would have had plenty of time to have seen.
One of the biggest myths going in terms of playing against
81.
Justin Pipe. Because in terms of the functionality of the speed of the game, you don't just look at how slow someone delivers the darts, it's to how quick they collect them, how quick they move down the ocky and get out the way.
100.
And he was so quick. Raced down the ocky, got the darts out the way, presented to the ocky. There was many slower than Justin Pipe, I can guarantee you that.
100. Lee requires
I
76.
can vouch for that. Cox 76. Tops.
56.
Doesn't go, but he is going to come back for 3 more in hand. Severely underrated player in his career, Justin Pipe, in
60.
terms of what he won and
Lee required 20.
what he did in the sport. But in this contest, Lee is hoping to be full of glee to make it 3-3.
10.
But it's not going to go, and this would be a fatal
Michael
blow
McGuire, 180.
if Norton could find the 118.
He won't add to the tumblers checkout column, which has already put 1 in already. But I can guarantee you Lee Cox won't be
82.
feeling too
He required
excited about
10.
a double 5 opportunity.
Game's on the 6th.
But it's one he
Lee
takes
Cox.
nonetheless. He makes it 3-3. This
7
is
from
a
final leg is Mike to
seismic
throw
leg.
first. Game on.
Feel a lot lies on these opening darts. To really set the tone of the leg.
100. 96.
And both of them cancel each other out. You're basically waiting for the first slip.
100.
And it's just about rescued there by Norton.
Reminder, this isn't just big in the context of this match, but in the qualification place for the group. Two players
100.
battling it out for that third spot as things stand, currently occupied by Van Peer.
45.
There's the slip. Can Cox take advantage?
140.
Finds a 140, but it's not so bad to put him on a finish.
60.
Well and truly in control of the game now, Lee Cox. Broke the throw in the scoring phase. Will be first to a finish.
93.
It'll only be a couple of singles required to get him to the double. Mike Norton just drying up on the treble when he
60.
needed it the most.
Lee requires 72.
To keep himself alive and kicking.
54.
Doesn't go.
Mike requires
And
136.
Would feel cruel for Cox. Another one of them. Double 8.
120.
Whisker of a wire away.
Lee requires 18.
His heart would have been in his mouth. He splits. But he
16.
cannot hit. And Norton has got free clear at double
Mike
8.
requires 16.
And he only needs the one. And Mike Norton has found 2 wins from 2 to kickstart his night. It's a mop of the brow. Half of the job is done as far as Mike Norton is concerned. And now he is hoping on Andy Boulton to do him a favour. For Lee Cox, when he had match darts to win that particular contest, he loses out 4-3. He's not out of the race, but he is going to have to do some of the hard yards now. Norton 4, Cox 3. Next up, Boulton Van Peer. Welcome back to the Modus Super Series, where before the break, Mike Norton made it 2 wins and 2, getting the better of Lee Cox by 4 legs to 3. Lee, who did have match darts in that game, but he couldn't get over the line. Norton taking out a 120 amongst the mix to seal that success. It makes things very tight at the bottom end of the table. 4-4-2, and well, Andy Boulton will be hoping to hit the back of the net and hopefully score his way through to tomorrow night's final. And he takes on Carlo Vampire here. And if Boulton wins this game, that final qualification spot is wide open for interpretation.
First leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
The only thing Andy Boulton's going to care about here is getting his job done, confirming his place in Saturday's final. We have seen big turnarounds before where
60.
a player has ran away with it on the opening day, not backed it up on the second day. We like to call that the Scott Walters. Sorry, Scott, if you're listening.
123.
Luckily, he'll be happily somewhere on the Isle of Man right now, playing in that particular WDF competition.
100. 60.
Boulton, who will be playing in the World
97.
Seniors Champion of Champions qualifiers over the weekend. And actually, the first Target Open Series event took place this evening. Martin Adams, one of the big names in that. He made it through to the semi-finals, being Ian Joplin 4-0 in the quarterfinals. David Cameron beat Robert Rickwood by 4 legs to 1, averaging 109 in the process. Ross Montgomery beating Kevin Edwards 4-0. And Scott Mitchell beating Andy Hamilton by 4 legs to 3. In terms of the semis, well, we saw David Cameron beat Martin Adams 4-2. Ross Montgomery beat Scott Mitchell 4-3. And Montgomery would go on and beat David Cameron 4-0 in the final to win the opening event of the weekend. But as far as the opening leg of this game is concerned, Carlo Vampire is threatening a break, leaving tops after 12.
100. Carlo, you require 40. 20. Andy
Probably fancy the chances of a return here. Andy Boulton needs 2 trebles to get himself a shot at the double. And he's not hit many trebles in this leg. Another slow start here for the X Factor.
97. Carlo, you require 20. Game shot in the first leg. Carlo
Vampire steps in, breaks 16, and it is 1-0 to the Dutchman.
Second leg, it's Carlo to throw first. Game on.
Kind of saw a little bit of this in Group A from Andy, where sometimes he just needed to take a leg or two just to G himself up.
60.
Speaking of on Tuesday, he said that he didn't know why, because everything's been kind of the same in terms of prep and things like that, but it just felt a little bit flat from his perspective.
And that's how he's looked tonight so far, hasn't he? He did go down in the opening game 4-1 to Justin Smith.
61.
And he's not yet got firing in this one. If this was the X Factor, you'd say he's still on the auditions round.
100.
Can't be the X Factor because half the judges on Celebrity Big Brother at the minute. I could see you on Celebrity Big Brother, Matt.
180.
There's one problem with that, though, really.
Is it the fact that you're not a celebrity?
Yes, that would be the issue.
100.
Is that why when you appear on The Chase, it's going to be on Friday at 5 o'clock as opposed to an actual
60.
prime time slot?
You see me at the quiz, I'm not going on The Chase either.
Tipping point then.
$100. Carlo, you require 140.
Strike It Lucky, that was my show. Or Fun House. Now we're talking. You remember Funhouse, don't you?
82.
You missed
Andy
those joys
Recoil,
back in the day.
142.
Andy Boulton, again, stranded back on a big finish.
Oh, ball for double 16.
James
Oh,
on
it's
the
remarkable.
second leg.
It's an X
Andy
Factor
Boulton.
finish from the X Factor himself.
Okay, he's now gone to judges'
Well, it's
houses
Andy
with the
to
level
throw
of
first.
performance.
Game on.
Is it live shows after that? I've got to try and remember the structure.
We're always live.
$100.
Do you know what the worst bit about it was? The only bad thing about it is we didn't even get to catch the wiggle on camera.
41.
Forget about the wiggle. Just look at the
99.
expression on his face. You could see when he released that third dart that he was just throwing absolutely everything into it.
60.
We get to keep an eye now on Carlo Vampire, who's been hit hard there. We've not seen him have that sort of haymaker blow landed on him yet, because he was looking in a very, very strong position to go 2-0 up there. And all of a
140.
sudden, this is all about Andy Boulton.
But isn't this what great players do? When they look like they're in the doldrums somewhat, they find a way of producing something. And sometimes it can just be that one finish that's the catalyst.
You don't have a career that spans as long as Andy Boulton, playing in the arenas that Andy Boulton
97.
has, rubbing shoulders with the calibre of player that he does on a regular basis, if you don't have that touch of class.
80. And he requires 65.
And this time he's got space and time.
33.
Again, he tries for the double 16, but this time it wasn't a valiant attempt. He will do
100.
absolutely
And he requires
anything to leave this
32.
double. And that is the
Ames on
reason
third
why
leg. Andy
Bolton's
Boulton.
turned this game on its head. He leads 2-1. And remember, any win for Bolton's good enough
Well, there
tonight.
It's Carlo to throw first. Game on.
And you would think, even though mathematically it's not the case, you'd think effectively it would probably drag Justin Smith through with him.
57.
Smith has the opportunity to do it without any favours or any snookers required when he takes on Lee Cox in the middle game of the session
41.
after this. But that's a slip from Andy Bolton, which you haven't seen for the last couple of legs.
$140.
Feels like Andy Bolton needs to be at the peak of concentration tonight, because it does look tight.
60.
When you've got that, you just got to try that a bit harder. And ultimately, when he does, and he's got that 100% focus, we can see the big moments come out. That
60.
142 was a magical moment there from Andy Bolton. I'll keep Carlo Vampire on high alert throughout the game.
59.
Now he's just slipped back into that sort of lack of trebles again. 9 darts thrown in this leg without landing a big dart.
81.
Slipping the single one leaves Vampire on a bogey. It'll only be punished if Bolton can hit a max.
140.
almost was. But Vampire's got to be careful here, because if he comes up dry in this visit, Bolton really will be breathing down his neck.
58. 60.
And he
Carlo,
gave that a
require
right old
105.
stare down, didn't he? 105. He's missed the big number. We've seen that a couple of times this evening.
73. And he require 141.
Surely he can't do it again. He's hitting with a big haymaker blow. The 142. It's on.
And that would have been another haymaker jab. It is an evening of heavyweight boxing over in Saudi Arabia, and that would have felt like a knockout punch of Ampere.
Game shot.
But he keeps swinging. It's back to 2-2.
Fifth leg, it's Andy to throw first.
And if you are stood there as Carlo Vampire, you'll just be thinking, here we go again when you first see those trebles go in. But the tough bit for him is he's got to try and get a breaker throw for Andy Boulton. That was just a bonus leg for Boulton. He's experienced enough to know that he's just got to hold on to his darts. Carlo Vampire's got the big work to do.
60.
He really threw his body into that one, didn't he? I'm not surprised to see him come downstairs there for a dart.
43.
Literally launched his entire body into that shot there, Andy Boulton. Another sign of a bit of stiffness in the shoulders, just trying to find a bit of movement where it's possible.
There's been just a few times tonight where a fair bit of shoulder has come into play.
Better. Not just because of where it landed, but how it's thrown, how it's propelled
140.
through the air.
Does it seem to be a problem with dart 3?
It seems to be an inconsistent problem, really, for Andy Boulton, just dipping in and out. But that's what tightness will do. He has been
46.
here all week so far, so probably will benefit from a bit of a break. And that sizable gap between now and the finals night, where ultimately he looks destined to be.
Well, if he wants to go for 219s, he can go for 219s. If he wants to, well, go 6 for his favourite double 16, well, he can take his pick because he's got time. Splits for Old Faithful.
6.
Would have been for the third leg in this match to be won on that double. He's not afraid of the old facial expressions, is Andy.
And
this time, Carlo's left himself for the finish.
Game shot on the fifth
Not
leg.
that it's going to matter.
Andy
Boulton is one
Boulton.
away from tomorrow night's final.
Sixth leg, it's Carlo to throw first. Game on.
When you feel like this, when you're Andy Boulton, everything just feels like effort. Nothing feels enjoyable.
83.
He's had a 142, but elsewhere in terms of the doubling, he's actually free from 11 when it's come to the outer ring. But the key to this game have kind of been in the power scoring stakes. And in terms of the scoring power pack, Boulton leads 6-2 by way of the ton 40 plus throws, which is meaning that he's just managing to tiptoe his way through a leg rather quicker
96.
than his Dutch opponent is.
$137. $123. $100.
Big last dart gets him first to a finish.
However, he's hoping and he was praying that Vampire came out dry, but he hasn't done so. But this would be a haymaker blow. The 164 isn't going to go. I was actually a little bit of me surprised he didn't go down for the 19s
100.
that time
Carlo
around.
requires
So,
60.
Vampire to take us all the way. Kept it high.
Game's
And
on
he
the
uses
sixth
the
there.
perfect
Carlo
guide.
Vampire.
That was dirty from Carlo Vampire.
7 from final leg. It's Andy to throw first. Game on.
I'm not sure it was his intended plan when you say it was perfect. Completely clattered off the flight. But it's gone in.
95.
I remember a very similar shot at the World Championship when Ryan Searle did that, and he said he threw up a little bit in his mouth.
It was like when you play air hockey when you
140.
get the puck and it comes off of a couple of corners and into the back of the net. And you could see from the camera angle there that it just completely came off the flight of the
59.
first.
How those moments can completely turn fortunes.
55.
But aside from that, it was also a very good leg from Vampire. It was a 14 darter.
$100.
Saves the situation with the last dart. This is getting edgy.
It's a case of who's going to be first to blink.
96.
Great recovery with the last from Carlo. But this man's timing.
140.
He knows he needs to produce. He tends to.
He fancied a maximum there. You saw the picking up the pace. He got in the rhythm, got in the flow.
40.
Big
And they
advantage
require
now for Andy
107.
Boulton. Carlo Vampire's on a chance, but it's the biggest one of them all. Andy will be fancying his chances here to have 6 darts.
91.
And he sets it up beautifully
Carlo, you
in
require
a preferred area of the
170.
board. All he's got to do is hope that Carlo doesn't take out the biggest finish possible in this sport.
$96. And he requires 16.
2 8s for tomorrow night. There's going to be some Saturday night X Factor at the Super Series. Andy Boulton qualifies again. It was a bit of a half-hearted Juicy Wiggle. Maybe we'll see the whole hog tomorrow night. But it's felt like hard work for him this evening. He's got the job done, but it hasn't been the quite convincing Andy Boulton that we saw yesterday evening. He's over the line. That's all that matters. But that 1-4-2 was huge in the running. He beats Carlo Vampire by 4 legs to 3. We're off for a break. Justin Smith can also seal his place through if he can get the better of Lee Cox. Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where before the break, Andy Boulton qualified his way through to tomorrow evening's final, getting the better of Carlo Vampire in a last leg decider by 4-3. Next up for us, Lee Cox against Justin Smith. It's the halfway game of our evening session, and a win for Justin Smith will qualify through to tomorrow evening's final. As for Lee Cox, defeat here could well be the final fatal blow. What do you reckon's gonna happen in this one here, Matt?
First leg, it's Lee to throw first. Game on.
On the basis of what we saw from Justin Smith in that opening game, you've got to make him favourite, and the odds compilers do. But Lee Cox is now backs to the wall. It's do or die.
60.
If he loses this, he will be pretty much eliminated from proceedings. This is when you tend to really see the measure of a player. He did it at the weekend. He went up for his county team in London when they played up in Derbyshire. Went up to that game knowing that he needed to win the game to give London the win. And he did. So we know he can stand up in these type of moments. We know he can be counted for.
And he is standing up. And he is fighting. Like we expect he would.
$60.
Lee is ever being watched on by his partner Steph and their little one.
55.
Hope you're all keeping well.
47. Lee
So 146 for Lee to take out the opening leg. Not going to be this time. And so Smith returns for 160 for the breaker throw. And I just know exactly what's going to be in Lee's mind. He's thinking, no. And for once, his hopes and his prayers have been answered.
60. Lee requires 68.
But it may just be these types of pop shots that he may only get opportunities at. Double 16.
Game shot.
But he finds the 68 to take
Cox.
the opening leg.
Second leg, it's Justin to throw first. Game on. $180.
That's what Justin Smith was doing in his opening game when he got the victory against Andy Boulton, the only man who's been able to get the victory over Andy Boulton in this group. A 4-1 success that was. He was just throwing with minimal effort, but maximum reward. Very
96.
relaxed character. Justin Smith, very relaxed throw, relaxed action. So much natural ability and talent.
100.
Be interesting to follow him over the next sort of 9 months throughout 2024, because he's a player
58.
who told us yesterday that he's going to be putting more effort into the sport. Believes that doesn't put anywhere near as much practice as he needs to or should do to
26.
get to where he needs to be or wants to be. Certainly got the natural ability and the natural talent. But if he's going to mix that with a little bit of hardcore effort, who knows how far Justin Smith can go. He believes he's destined for the tour, destined for the top.
123. Justin, you require 67.
But then, as I said in the Only Fools and Horses quote, Millwall were going to win the cup.
Game
1-1.
Second leg. Justin Smith.
And imagine Lee Cox is a big Chelsea fan. I think the idea of Millwall winning the FA Cup is probably one of the worst suggestions you could say to him.
$100.
Mind you, judging by the attendances at the Den at recent times, even the Millwall fans haven't had the best of seasons, have they? And they're languishing down the bottom end of the championship.
100.
Mind you, it's not been bad for your boys this year, has it, Matt?
140.
Can't complain. And it'll be even better when we beat Ajax on Thursday night and
100.
moving to the quarterfinals of the Europa Conference.
Can't wait to spend a season in the championship next year. Portsmouth doing very well at the top of
140.
League One. Might be passing Chris Murphy's Sheffield Wednesday very quickly in the league pyramid.
97.
Speaking of doing well in Portsmouth, though, look at this from Lee Cox. 9 darts thrown. He's on 1-2-1. This is what he needed in this fixture. A big,
81.
high-scoring power performance. Get the points on the board. Keep his hopes alive.
100.
There's no better way of going about it than leaving tops after 12 on throw.
Game shot on the third
Pins it
leg.
first time,
Lee
13
Cox.
darter. This is a game that's really coming up to the boil. Both players average north of 90. Cox 2 for 2 on the doubles.
Fourth leg is
Smith
Justin to throw
50%
first.
himself.
Game on.
But what's quite pertinent for Lee in this game, which maybe at times is the one thing we've seen maybe
60.
lack a little bit, is the amount of two treble visits. He's outscored Justin on that particular metric. He's going to find another, at least 2 treble score. It's a 3 treble score.
180. $60.
Had a text from our
40.
commentary colleague, Scott Mitchell. Fresh off of his exploits at the Open Series.
100.
Is that it? You're not going to tell us what it said? You're just going to announce you've had a message?
So I mean, just to be careful what I say.
100.
Are you one of them people where you go, I've got something I want to tell you, but I'm not going to tell you it?
We're going to tell you about next week's lineup at the end of this game in the studio chat.
65.
So that was where you leave it. Okay. Right.
Cox 116. But this setup from Smith means that this has to go, you feel.
116.
Smith leaving himself on a double. And that nud was almost of the typification that it is of his
42.
week so far.
Justin, you require 36.
It's double 18 for 2 apiece. Grazes the wire. But he
80.
cannot find
He
a way
requires
through.
74.
And so Cox has got a break chance. 20 for tops. Tops he wants. Tops he
Game shot on the
finds.
fourth leg.
And
Lee
that
Cox.
could be a key and pivotal exchange.
Fifth
Justin
leg, it's Lee
Smith.
to throw first.
You can kind
Game
of
on.
tell on his face how crucial that could be. Stares down solemnly, literally head to the floor
100.
as he comes back to the hockey, knowing that he has got it all to do now.
Lee Cox has been mightily strong on his throat.
60. $85. $180.
I wonder whether this is the next thing with Justin Smith. Maybe the one thing that we can have maybe in the past of labelled at
81.
him is when the going gets tough, how can he stick with the task? Well, he's sticking with it here. He is showing resilience.
140.
Much better. Max 140 leads 1-2-1 after 9 on the back of the 60 start.
140.
Beautiful darts
Just
again there from Lee Cox.
121.
By far the best performance we've seen from Cox in terms of an all-round performance.
57.
Not
He
just
required 95.
statistically, but the timing, the moments. It could be over.
57.
I think he hit the actual number there with the second dart.
Justin, you require 64.
2 8s.
Game
And
shot on the
Smith
fifth
punishes.
leg. Justin Smith.
Brings it back to 3-2, and he has the throw to take us all the way to a last leg decider.
Sick leg, it's Justin to throw first. Game on.
How pivotal could those 2 missed darts at double 19 be for Lee, not just in this game, but in the context of his group.
Was responding well.
140.
Lee Cox, if there's been a criticism in the past, it's been that he sort of wears the blows. Doesn't bounce back quick enough, but not there.
60.
This is why I said this has been the best all-round performance so far for Lee Cox in this group. It just so happens to come at the time he needs it the most.
54.
Don't know about you, but this performance has felt like this is not happening again. I am not allowing this same fate to happen to me again, and I am going to do everything in my power to try and arrest the situation.
135. 68.
Saves it. Last start in hand. And they're the moments I'm talking about here where in the past or in other games, Lee Cox after the 5 and the 1 would have shook his head, thought,
100.
here we go again. But he finds a treble 20 that keeps him interested in this leg.
100. Justin Yabakoi, 147.
147 to take us all the way. It's not going to go.
131. Yabakoi, 139.
Leaves himself on a double. And is going to get a go at the 2 8s.
99. Justin Yabakoi, 16.
To go the distance.
Game shot on the sixth flag. Justin Smith.
And now the eyes move towards Lee Cox. We know Justin Smith has a foot
7
through the
from
door. He's
final leg,
pretty
it's
much
Lisa
there
Tucker.
already.
Game on.
All but the mathematics. For Lee Cox, this is a crucial leg.
100.
Roll of the eyes, he would have been hoping for more after finding the treble with the first dart.
140.
Needs to find a couple of trebles here.
59.
Comes up dry and hands the ascendancy to Justin Smith. And is it beginning to happen again to Lee Cox? Because Smith's kicked off back-to-back 140s. He has taken the darts in the decider.
$47.
Well, he opened with a treble 20 in this one, then he's found 8 darts without one, and Justin Smith is finding his A game right at the
100.
most crucial moment.
It almost looks like a face of resignation for Lee Cox. It's almost as if it's time again to suffer that same fate.
83. Justin
He
Yabakoi,
heads back down the
121.
oki knowing that his opponent has 6 darts for the match. He may only need the 3. Double 18. And that would have been to have headed through in style. All he can do here is hit big and then hope that there are mistakes from Justin Smith. And there has been some fallibility on the doubles. Only 3 from 10 in this match.
100. Justin Yabakoi, 36.
But this is for Saturday night. It's double 18 for a passage through to the finals. And the bearded dragon is back in the big night.
Justin Smith.
He gets over the line. He beats Lee Cox by 4 legs to 3. And Justin Smith, a new look Justin Smith, is into the finals here at the Super Series. A 93.86 average, 4 from 11 on the double, sees him over the line. For Lee Cox, it is not mathematically over, but he has got work to do. He knows that for a fact. We are at the halfway point of our night. We're off for a short break. Myself and Matthew Edgar going to head next door to the studio to assess what we have seen so far. And it is a night already where Justin Smith and Andy Boulton have booked their passages through to tomorrow night's final.
Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where we have reached the halfway point of the evening's action here in Portsmouth. 5 games have come and gone, and these are the results from them so far. It has been a night of compare and contrast, but one thing we can confirm is the places of Justin Smith and Andy Boulton through to tomorrow evening's final. I've been watching the action alongside Matthew Egg. Let's talk about the 2 guys that made their way through. We'll begin with Andy Boulton. Lost his first game, but recovered well in his second to confirm his place through. No dramas in the end.
There was a lot of drama, though, in the way in which he did it. And he's looking tight, he's looking stiff. This is his 5th day of play. We've got to remember he is now one of the senior players as well in this sport. Been playing it a long time. He always struggles with a bit of fidgetiness, sort of tightness in the neck anyway. So I'm not surprised to see him just a little bit fatigued and jaded there, but it doesn't stop him producing some real quality darts at times. And he did bounce back well after that defeat to Justin Smith.
The timing of this 1-4-2 was a real sickener to Carlo in the second game, wasn't it?
Well, if you look there, Carlo Vampire sat on 58, ready to come back and go 2-0 up. And you expect that when you're a player and you see your opponent on such a big outshot, you expect to get the opportunity to come back and get that revisit to the board. He didn't. It was a big sucker punch, which it did knock Carlo for about 12 darts. He was unable to find the treble. Did sort of recover and make a good game of it in the end. That was a really enjoyable watch, that one. But it's sort of like two stories now. We've kind of separated the table into two halves.
In terms of Justin Smith, we're seeing a different version of him, aren't we, this time around? This looks like the Justin Smith that we were probably seeing around about 18 months, 2 years ago.
This is what I expect of Justin Smith. Now, that last game was very dramatic. He ended up getting himself in a lot of problems and a lot of bother in regards to having to dig something out in the last leg, but he did. Now, Justin Smith's talked about how he wants to start practicing more, how he wants to start putting more effort into the sport. He's found it easy up to now to get to where he is. He's done that on natural ability. Now he's finding out that natural ability will only take you so far. There needs to be a lot of hard work to get you to where you think you should be. And for him, that's the top of the game. And at the moment, it's hard to argue because he's pulling out some good stuff, and it's really exciting to watch his journey over the next sort of 6 months.
It most certainly is. Mike Norton, though, has probably been one of the players of the night. He knew the task going into today. He had to win the lot, you said. He's halfway towards doing that.
The fixtures came the right way for him because first two players he played, players that are just literally in that contention with him. He's got those victories. Now he's got to play players who have already qualified. Justin Smith relies on playing on fluent, pacey, adrenaline-style darts. How much of that is he still going to have left? And now he's guaranteed his place. Andy Boulton, we're talking about that tightness. Is that going to get worse as the night goes on? This might be perfect for Mike Norton. And Mike Norton may be the man we talk about for months and months as that player who loses all 4 games, then qualifies, and could be a really good example moving forward.
Well, let's have a look then at the league standings then. Following the first 5 fixtures of the evening session, Justin Smith and Andy Boulton, well, they're safely through. And effectively, they can just cause carnage and think, right, which one of them 3 we're going to send through out of Vampire, Norton and Cox. So that's the table then as far as this evening is concerned. Well, we can have a look at what's going to happen next week here at the Super Series, because we're going to have a former champion in action here at the Live Lounge. And that is going to be Jim McEwen, the winner of Series 5. He's going to be back in action. And it's pretty much a little bit of a World Seniors cast when you've got David Cameron and Michael Huntley in action. John Michael makes a return from Greece. And Bradley Ruser, emerging talent from the Netherlands, in there. But you love the look of Group B, don't you? And in particular, Jeff Smith.
I sat here, well, not exactly here, but somewhere like here, at the back end of last year. We had a conversation. Who would you like to see at the Super Series next year? Who, dropping off the tour, do you think would make an impact in this venue? My eyes instantly drew to Jeff Smith. And for me, this tournament is tailor-made to Jeff Smith. He will be absolute one of the top faces. When you say about if we had a ranking list of Super Series, he'll be in the top 5, guaranteed by the end of the year. This suits a player with consistency, class, people that don't really have that. When they do drop off, they can still win. That is Jeff Smith in a nutshell, but he's also explosive when it comes to it. Finishes absolutely superb. I'm fully expecting Jeff Smith to win weeks. Whether it's this one or not, he will win a week in 2024.
Big expectations there from Matthew Edgar. 9:30 on the Super Series YouTube channel on Monday morning to watch all of the action get underway. But it's all about the action here at the Live Lounge Reports on this Friday evening that we're taking our centre of attention. We've reached the halfway point of the evening. We're about to get to the second half of the evening action. And we know 2 of the players that are going to make their way through to tomorrow night's final, and Andy Boulton and Justin Smith. And if you, like them too, want to be here tomorrow night, the floor in the auditorium will turn into a mass audience, and you can join us for the action by having a look at this.
And so we press on in the second half of the evening action here at the Super Series. Our 6th game sees Andy Boulton and Mike Norton go toe-to-toe. And at the beginning of the night, you would have made Andy Boulton the heavy favourite, but could you make a severe case here for Mike Norton?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Andy Boulton has struggled throughout the evening with a little bit of tightness. He's got the results, he's got the wins, he's got the qualification that he needs. But Mike Norton still is up there fighting the good fight. He's still in with a chance of getting that qualification place and putting himself into Saturday night. And he didn't play bad yesterday, despite the fact not picking up any victories. So it can't be said that
gets Mike to throw first.
he
Game
didn't see
on.
this coming from Mike Norton. He's got the advantage of throw. That could be vital. And yeah, I give him a fair chance here.
140.
And that is just the start you want.
100. 100.
Well, we know 5 of the 6 now that are going to make their way through to the final. Who, at this early stage, would you
180.
have as an early candidate to go on and win the thing?
53.
Can I have a minute on that one?
I'll tell you what, let's get this leg out the way with, and then we'll have a little bit of a chat in the next, because Bolton's going to make very short order of this,
140.
potentially. He leaves himself 81 after 9. Norton, who got off to a good start, has only found 1 treble since. Or big treble, at least.
45. And he require 81.
Well, treble 15, double 18 tends to be his MO, but to prove me wrong, he's going to go treble 19 this time.
49. 82. And he required 32.
Double 16 for the break. Stands up nicely.
Game shot in
And
the
it
first
follows
set.
its way in.
Andy
Boulton kicks the game off with a 14 dart break.
Second leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
Wonder whether this helps your case. In qualification weeks, not just has Andy
100.
Boulton qualified for every single Saturday night, his worst result on a qualification Saturday is runner-up. He's actually on a little bit of a spell where it's runner-up, winner,
60.
runner-up, winner. But because he lost the last one, if the trend continues, he's going to lose the final tomorrow night.
I think the winner's going to come from this
60.
group. I think you've got to put Andy Boulton and Justin Smith as 2 of the real strong candidates to pick up the weekly title and join Reece
70.
Robinson.
$140.
Seems to have found his mojo here, Andy Boulton. Maybe now the job's done, maybe that stiffness that he was
100.
finding was maybe just a little bit of nerves and tension of the situation rather than just a full-on physical reaction.
105.
Naturally, one of the things you do when you feel that sort of nerves is tense up.
60. And he required 96.
Things could get tenser, Mike, in the next few moments. Bolton's got 6 on 96 to open up a 2-0 lead.
60.
Keeps it straight enough to leave himself on 36. Is it a case of Iron
60.
Mike hitting a wall when
And
it
he required 36.
matters the most? And
Game shot in the
Bolton steps
second
in and he
leg.
takes a 2-0
Andy
lead.
Boulton.
No signs of fallibility from him.
Fella gets Mike to throw first. Game
Even
on.
if he is going through the full repertoire of stretches.
81.
I mean, there is a situation where Mike Norton could lose this game and get away with it. But he would have to rely on Lee
140.
Cox getting the better of Carlo Vampire. And basically what that would mean is all of them players will be log jammed on 4 points. But then it would mean the maximum that Mike can get to is 6.
43.
And it would mean that his last game of the group against Justin Smith in Game 8 is a must-win. And then he's going to have to
180.
watch Lee and Carlo play in Game 9 and 10 and hope that opponents do him favours.
180.
Third maximum of the game goes the way of Mike Norton. 2-1 in favour of Andy Boulton, though, on the big hits.
58.
As Andy Boulton's average goes over the 100 mark. He has tretters to a big average already.
99.
It was at
And
the
they
end of
require
yesterday,
123.
107.17.
That Andy Boulton eyebrow
66.
almost reminded me of the
Mike
James
McGuire,
Wade
98.
expression when Luke Littler hit the big fish at the UK Open last weekend. That would have been an eyebrow-raising finish if Norton could have
58.
taken out the
And they
98.
require
But
57.
this is for the double break and a 3-0 lead. And of course, remember, winning the group will have its incentives, both of a monetary value but also of a psychological value. And in terms of
Game
placing
shoulder
yourself
third
better
man.
in groups,
Andy Boulton.
Boulton finds a 14 to lead 3-0. And he really does have the game by the scruff of his
Well, there
neck.
gets Andy to throw first. Game on. 59.
Welcome along. If you are joining us close to this midnight hour, you're watching the MODUS Super Series on the
100.
Super Series YouTube channel. We're in the midst of a Group B campaign where both Andy Boulton and Justin Smith have made their way through. They made fairly quick order of proceedings in the end. The big battle tonight is to see who is going to make the third and final
100.
place through to tomorrow evening's final. If you are watching on the Super Series YouTube channel, then do drop us a subscribe, because on top of the live action that we bring you 6 days a week here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth, we will also be bringing you bonus content, which you can tune into
135.
to your heart's content whenever you want to watch it.
$76.
And one thing we can guarantee on the YouTube channel tomorrow is we're going to be watching Andy Boulton play darts. And he's about to wrap up a
100.
4-0 win here, which would put him in pole position in topping the group.
$85. And they require 107.
To get the job done in double quick time.
Dribble 17 doesn't go, and so Norton needs
91.
to find Andy's
Mike
number.
require 180.
Otherwise, his game is over. Otherwise, his hopes will be in peril. But when his back is against the wall, he
78.
almost found a ton topping
And he
out.
requires 16.
To continue the ascent up the group, Andy Boulton
Andy
beats Mike
Boulton.
Norton by 4 legs to 0. It could be the straw that breaks the camel's back, but we don't know, because the next game could hold the keys for Mike Norton. The tale of the tape from that one, another good performance from Andy Boulton, 96-97. That's more like it for the X Factor. 4 from 7 on the doubling as well. But this is huge. Carlo Vampire in action against Lee Cox after the break. Welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where that man Carlo Van Peer finds himself in a good position now, but he could find himself perilously placed by the end of this one. He takes on Lee Cox in a massive game. And we were just going through the surmisations and the numbers. Now, Mike Norton lost out 4-0 to Andy Boulton before the break, so he's on 4 points. He's in the middle of the Carlo and Lee sandwich. But if Lee Cox can win 4-0, he moves up to 3rd spot in the table.
First leg, it's Lee to throw first.
This is not
Game
over
on.
by the shouting, but this game holds all the cards for Cox.
$45.
Could say it's all about to kick off here at the Super Series. One more place available for
43.
Saturday night. 3 players still in the running for it.
$100. $100.
Expect there to be
81.
a bit of tension, a bit of nerves at some point in this one as we get into the meat of the game.
100. $180.
Lovely, tightly packed maximum there for Lee Cox. Stamp the authority on the leg of which he's thrown first.
100. He required 95.
95. Now, this was the combination. You may remember in the game against Justin Smith, he needed to win the match, and he didn't take out. He missed 2 darts at double 19. Is he going to be hoisted by the double 19 petard again? No, because Van Peer can't take out the 158
Lee required 40.
for the first step on the journey. Double 10. Now up for 5s.
35.
Sags low.
Carlo requiring 62.
Never really looked settled there. Had to have a regrip as well. Couldn't quite get it in the fingers correctly.
Game shot on the first leg. Carlo Van
Just the
Peer.
1 dart needed for Carlo Van Peer to get the breaker throw. Advantage.
Second leg, it's Carlo to
Big
throw
advantage.
First. Game on.
Van Peer. Is this going to be another story of Lee Cox looking back at missed opportunities?
131.
Those 3 darts there to hold the throw in this crucial game. He had 2 match darts, as you mentioned, to win 4-1. Ended up losing 4-3 to
45.
Justin Smith.
$134.
Well, a bit like the boxing, it's going to be 1 on points this particular duel for Group
140.
B tonight. Who in the world of darts would you like to take on in a boxing match, Matt?
100.
You.
And why?
Because it'd be easy. I like winning.
85.
You don't know
Carlo
what's coming your way.
36. $96.
But no, you're right, you would win, and quite easily. That might be another one for the YouTube channel.
Well, this might be another one for
24.
Carlo Van Peer. He's now got time on his
40.
side as well. 6 darts. He's only took 12 to negotiate the first. 461 points. This is a good performance here from Carlo Van Peer.
This is not the first time in this group where he stepped it up when he needed to. Because you remember that last game last night against Mike Norton where he needed to pick up a victory, otherwise everybody was going to be on the same points mark. He won that match 4-1 with a 95.5 average. He's averaging just under 94 here.
134.
Has got the break that he needed. But hold on. Not to be for Cox.
100. $77. 43.
Doesn't leave himself on a finish. 140 is punishable here for Vampire.
41.
So he starts to get his first leg on the board.
$138.
And now Cox leaves tops after 12.
$57. Lee required 40.
For 2-1.
Game shot on the
Had
third
plenty of
leg.
time, didn't
Lee
need the time as a
Cox.
14 darter. Still sticking with the task, as you would
Well,
come
there
to
gets Carlo
expect
to
from
throw
Lee.
first. Game on.
He's a one to shirk a challenge.
58.
That's his third max of the match. And for the second consecutive leg, Lee Cox has kicked off to the max.
89.
In terms of the race for third place, we know Boulton's through, we know
100.
Smith's through. Vampire 6 points. Norton 4 points. Cox 2. As things stand,
140.
with Vampire 2-1 to the good, but it may not be for much longer because Cox has got 6 from here.
135.
Looked like he was going to get a fourth maximum there. Just a little kiss off the barrel. Taking it off course and
96. Lee
landing in
required
the treble
86.
5. He's responding well. 777.
72.
For a 12
Carlo, you're
darter
required
for Lee
180.
Cox. This would hurt. If he finds tops.
Game shot on the fourth
That
leg.
could be the
Carlo
fatal
Vampire.
blow. That
Blair
could
gets
be
Lee
enough
throw
to help
first.
Vampire through.
Game on.
I mean, that was a great effort there from Lee Cox. He had a dart and a double after 11 darts. But brilliant finish from Carlo Vampire.
100.
I think Lee Cox will just be totting all these up in his mind right now. All these
82.
sort of mini opportunities that have just sort of passed him by, and just if I could have just took one of them.
45.
As he ran out of resistance. Was that one blow too many? There is only so much one player can
140.
take, and I can probably count 5 or 6 occasions now for Lee Cox where he's took a haymaker tonight.
60.
He's just one of those players that people just seem to play well against. Which in one breath is a compliment, but it's a compliment you don't want to hear.
59.
But the one thing you can't criticise about Lee is his resilience. His never relenting, this never
140.
say die attitude.
Carlo told me
89.
earlier
They
on
record
tonight
156.
that getting through would be like a dream come true. It's something he's watched for a long time.
81.
Back home, hoping
Carlo,
for an
you record
opportunity here at the Super Series.
131.
He's got his chance.
61. Lee requires
He leaves
75.
it okay. Where do you expect to get a dart of the double should Lee Cox not be able to take out the 75? And he can't. Carlo Van Peer said it would be a dream come true to get through to Saturday night.
Carlo, he requires
Is
70.
that dream about to become one big step closer?
It would end the run of Lee Cox. It's tops. It's Carlo Van Peer with the win. And once again, Lee Cox battles valiantly here at the Super Series, but once again is stopped in his tracks. And Carlo Van Peer is the favourite now to make it through. He is almost there. He is almost there to realising his dream. For Lee Cox, well, once again, he has tried and he has fought and he has been locked into battle, but once again, he hasn't found a way. It must feel sickening for him. But for Carlo Van Peer, he is on the cusp of qualification through to Saturday night's final here in Portsmouth. And so we take a short break, and upon our return, we're going to be watching Justin Smith in action up against Mike Norton. And it's tungsten time, the other side of midnight here at the MODUS Super Series. Before the break, we saw Carlo Van Peer beat Lee Cox 4-1. Now we've been getting our statistician moles in the break, getting all the down low on the consequences of that win. And it is enough for Carlo Van Peer to qualify for tomorrow night's final. So we know the 6 players are going to be participating in the big finale tomorrow night. Unfortunately for Mike Norton, it's not going to be for him. A third appearance here, a third time he hasn't made it through. But for Justin Smith, he's known a little while now that he's going to be in the big occasion tomorrow evening. And so for him, he's got a couple of games left, and he is looking forward to an assault towards the end of the night and try and finish in perfect style.
So we now know the lineup. We know the full 6 players. We know who people are going to see. good finals night. Good week, good lineup, good mixture of styles, paces, personalities. Plenty of talent on the show. Be a good night tomorrow.
But the fun could just be getting started in this game.
140.
Norton went 5 deep. $100. This is Mike's last game.
53.
He will head up to Reading for the World Seniors Open Series over the next couple of days, and then
Well, he's going to meet up with Derek Colson, no doubt, a player who was still in Group C, who also put in a very valiant effort.
Now, you know how Sod's Law works, don't you? They will draw each other in the first round tomorrow. You know how it works. Smith can't work the 160.
121 might require 36.
Norton will be hoping to flip it and reverse it as far as his fortunes are concerned.
No score.
But Smith now has the break opportunity. 2 16s to take the lead.
Justin Smith.
Even the poorer legs this evening have been in 6 visit range.
$26.
Inviting that first dart.
100.
Disappointing. But Justin Smith, when he gets that first dart sat up on that top wide, just expect more darts to follow.
140. $140. $91. $97. $100.
Smith threatening the break, 164. Norton's also found himself on a sizable out. The bullseye. Oh, that is superb! The bearded dragon breathes fire into the life of this game. A 164, and it's 2-0.
Delegates Justin to throw first. Game on.
You enjoyed that one, didn't you?
He loved it, didn't he, the bearded dragon?
60.
Don't know who did more. I think I probably did. I just love this game, you see.
60.
I think we'll have to double check the efficiency of the soundproof glass in here.
140. $81.
Yeah, I do believe when they tested the soundproof glass in here, they set off explosions, dynamite, all sorts of things, and no one heard a thing. But I think Justin Smith just said, Henry, can you keep it down up there, pal?
I mean, let's be honest, out of all the commentators that work here, I was going to be the one that's going to give it the hardest test, wasn't I? Anyway, don't let some screaming commentator get in the way of this good performance. 102.07 for Justin Smith. 2 from 2 on the doubles, including the 164 out.
40. Justin, you require 108.
Could be back-to-back ton toppers here, if he can pin the 108. And this is darts to be excited about.
Justin Smith.
Back-to-back ton toppers. Smith leads 3-0. A gasp of appreciation for Matthew Edgar for what has been a superb performance so far.
The players at the top have just stepped it up again, haven't they? absolutely bossing it. As soon as their qualification was done,
100.
you get that question of, are they going to sort of take the foot off the gas? Are they going to relax a little bit? They might relax a little bit, but it's actually making them play better. This was being spectacular. We had that great performance from Andy Boulton, and now Justin Smith has just took it up another level.
180.
But Mike wants his own parting shot.
100.
Norton is about to have a possibility of himself getting drubbed with an average of 92.2.
85.
Would be back-to-back drubbings, as you say. Only got a dart at the double in the last game when he took on Andy
60.
Boulton.
Mike, you reckon 136.
136 is on. Another one with a left double 8.
96.
Leads tops after 12 to get a leg on the board.
140. Mike, you require 40.
2 tops, now 2 tens.
Game shot.
And you felt that had to go because Justin
Mike
Smith
Norton.
probably takes out the 101. Shake your hand, see you later. 14 darter for Mike Norton.
Fifth leg, it's Justin to throw first. Game on.
So Justin Smith throwing for the match. A 4-1 victory. He's still got one more game to go.
134.
Takes on Carlo Van Peer in match 10.
119.
That's a Mike Norton. This is his last run out.
100.
I know my opinion counts for nothing. But I think we're looking at the weekly champion.
54.
I think Justin Smith could be the guy.
It's hard to argue, especially when he's playing this well.
100.
And he's had sustained performance. We've seen performances like this before from Justin Smith, but it's that sustainability, that consistency that just seems a lot more likely at the moment.
140. Justin,
Even shots like this, you just feel could go.
60.
We know what's going to happen here. Mike Norton's going to throw his last 3 darts because Justin Smith's about to take out 107.
40.
I tell you now, this goes in the treble
Justin,
20 with the first dart.
107.
And now he's going to hit the double 16 with a third.
75.
And that would have been for a
Mike
third.
Maguire, 148.
Ton plus checkout of the match. So Smith returns for 32 to
82.
seal the points.
Justin, you require 32.
We'll put him on to 12 points and it will put him top of the pile temporarily. And Justin Smith wins once again.
Justin Smith.
As for Mike Norton, well, his campaign come to an end. He found a couple of victories. He played well in that game, but Justin Smith has put down a statement. 2 ton plus outs, average in excess of a ton in a demonstrative 4-1 win against Mike Norton. 2 more games to go. Boulton Cox next. Two more games to go here at the MODUS Super Series, and we kickstart with Andy Boulton up against Lee Cox. As far as Andy Boulton is concerned, he will be playing another night here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. Well, he qualified quite a long time ago. As for Lee Cox, his campaign will come to an end following the conclusion of this particular encounter. Andy Boulton looking nice, refreshed and relaxed ahead of this one.
First leg, it's Andy to throw first. Game on.
And a man who's beginning to obtain a reputation for being Mr. Saturday Night will be back at the big occasion.
180.
But what can he do on Saturday morning?
$134.
Well, he's not going to give us a perfect start.
82.
Big recovery of the last start in hand.
$82. $139.
Is this the definition of peaking at the right time if you're Andy Boulton?
180.
Maximum for
and
Cox.
100.
His 9th of his campaign here, Lee Cox.
80. Lee
Joint
Require
top
105.
180 hitter of this group, Lee Cox on 9. Joins Justin Smith on the same tally.
73. And he required 20.
But you know how the old expression goes with the 180s and the doubles and all that?
Part and parcel of the game.
10. Lee required 32.
It's 2 8s.
Game's
It's
on the
1-0
first leg.
Cox.
Lee Cox. Second leg, it's Lee to throw first. Game on. 45.
There is some news from
140.
outside the Super Series. The Isle of Man competition is taking place this weekend, and the men's final will be contested
140.
between a teenager from Jersey, Lewis Bell, who's made his first final in that particular system. And he takes on the former champion here, who,
140.
remember, we are going to see in action on Monday morning in Jim McEwen, who beat Darren Webster 4-2 to move in
100.
a win of his second WDF ranking title.
We know that that is
140.
Sunday night over in the Isle of Man. So you'll have choices. You can either take the ferry across and take the long drive down, which means it's not going to be getting to Portsmouth until the
85.
very, very early hours, or there
require
may be
81.
the option of flying.
Well, the option won't be there on a Sunday. The option's not going to be there for Andy now. I mean, I've been there in the past, and you're basically not going to get any
They
flights
require
out on the Sunday night, so it's going to
134.
have to be the ferry. And then you're going to have to hope that there's options along. I know they travelled to the comp, I believe, via the ferry.
91. And he required 32.
But lots stay out to the Monday and travel via the plane on the way back home. Particularly those based in the southern quarters of the UK, as Boulton looks for 2
Game's
8s
on the
to level up.
second leg.
And one apiece.
Andy
There's a break
Boulton.
apiece in this game.
Third leg, it's Andy to throw first.
Well, the ferry would go to, Liverpool,
Game on.
Yep.
which to Portsmouth we're saying, 5.5 hours maybe?
Give or take about 5, I reckon.
Ferry itself's 3 hours?
100.
Couple, I'd say, yeah, 2, 3. Yeah, so probably about 8-hour journey all in all.
And he won't be starting that
60.
journey. Well, we've just got hope in a way that someone's with him that's going to be doing the driving, so you get some sleep in the car. Otherwise, Monday is going to be a long day for Mr.
140.
McEwen.
Perhaps not a surprise that in the women's competition that Bo Grease is into the final. And she'll
30.
take on the Swede, Vicky Prum, in the final, who beat Dieter Hedman by 4-0 to make her way through to the final of that competition. That's at the Villa
180.
Marina on the Isle of Man on Sunday. Andy Boulton here threatening an 11-dart leg to lead 2-1. Averaging 108.62. And what is it with Andy Boulton and finishing off the night on a high? Averaged 107 against Justin Smith in the last game yesterday. Averaging just under 109 now. And he finds
James
tops for
on
a
the third
12-dart leg. And
Andy
to lead
Boulton.
2-1. What must Lee Cox be thinking?
Wolfberg gets Lee to throw first.
Well, I'm thinking, like, I'm getting
100.
proper Hamburglar vibes. I don't know if you get that reference. Paul Nicholson would.
Well, I'm not Paul Nicholson.
100.
Unless you want me to put on a Geordie accent, of course.
I've already heard it. It's far from Geordie.
60. 100. 60. 100.
And this is not a bad form line to be in if you're Andy Boulton, because if you're going to peak at the end, then the end tomorrow is the final.
180. And you require 161.
Well, that 180 makes Lee Cox the best 180 hitter in this group. But yet he is bottom of the table.
99. Lee require 101.
Darting 101. Double 16.
69.
2-2.
And he requires 62.
Boulton returns for the break in a 3-1 lead. He's 2 in hand at double 16. He's been so good here tonight. He's been able to
46.
kind of use that guy as a bit of a bumper, hasn't he? But
32.
not on this particular occasion. And so Cox comes back for 32. Up for 8s.
24.
Moves inside.
And he requires 16.
Double 8. It's edging closer. And
James
now
on the full
Boulton
flag.
does get the break.
Andy
He
Boulton.
finds that 3-1 advantage. He's a leg away for
Flair
completing
gets
a
Andy
group
to throw first.
almost
Game on.
unflappable, almost unbeatable. 7 wins from 8 it would be if he can beat Cox here.
100. 81. 140.
Boulton closing in.
57. 45.
But that's a slip, but Cox ain't really in a position to punish.
100.
So Boulton 6 and 216 to complete the job and to wrap up a 4-1 victory.
140. 41. And he requires 76.
Finishing line in sight. Could be the end of the night.
40.
Would still have one more game still to go at the end of this one. Carlo Vampire and Justin Smith. But you feel these are the last throws that Lee Cox is going to get on this visit to the Super Series.
140. And he required 36.
And so the X Factor finishes with a flourish. It's an average of 98.5 to get the better of Lee Cox by 4 legs to 1. It's a hug and an embrace from the pair at the end. For Lee Cox, it's another campaign here at the Super Series where he's acquitted himself well. The performances haven't yielded into results. A 4-1 win for Boulton, 98.5 average, 4 from 15 on the doubles. He is into Saturday night. We knew that for a while. We knew Justin Smith was there for a while. He takes on Carlo Vampire in the final game of the session. And the winner will go into tomorrow night with a heck of a lot of confidence. And so here we go then, the last game of the day. And it is not a knockout. It's a little bit of a non-event like the boxing this evening as Justin Smith takes on Carlo Vampire in the last match of the evening session. Both of them are through to the championship rounds here at the Live Lounge in Portsmouth. But who will be coming out of this auditorium as the victor, as the champion, is Justin Smith has a chat with Owen Binks about something. God knows what.
Maybe he's talking about what he needs in order to win the group. Some players like to know. I don't think Justin
First
Smith
leg,
is
it's
one of those, to be
Carlo
fair.
throw first. Game on.
Well, he needs 4-2 or better to win the group. Any other outcome than that, it is going to be Andy
97.
Boulton. That is going to be the table topper as far as Group B is
60.
concerned. I've got to be honest, I've really liked this version of Justin Smith this week.
81.
It's been solid, hasn't it? Solid, good, quality. Exciting.
100.
Controlled, relaxed focus.
134. 100.
Carlo's making all the running in this first leg.
137.
To left himself on 52 after 12. Justin Smith needs something big here.
81.
Needs himself on a finish, but it is only 160. It's going to be 2 at tops. Bends the wire with the first. Bends the wire with the second.
160.
He has took 2 of these monster finishers out already. He could make it a hat-trick.
140.
And he wasn't far away.
40. Game shot on the
The
first leg.
Vampire strikes
Follow
first.
Vampire.
And so Justin Smith wants to win the group. He's got one more life to go.
Second leg, it's Justin to throw first. Game on.
There's nobody this week who's been better
180.
at kicking legs off of a maximum than Justin Smith.
100.
And maybe the bearded dragon could treat us to something magical. He could treat us to a 10-dart
140.
leg. Smith's on a 10.
91.
He's still on the 10.
100.
Still could have been if he'd have switched down to the treble 17. Could have gone treble 17 ball. Wasn't playing your game, was he, Henry?
No,
55.
but he's playing the
Justin
game.
require 81.
And he's a couple of darts away from being level in it. Going to be treble 13 here.
41.
And he's going to square himself up for tops after 12. Good quality contest, this. And again, Smith averaging in excess of 104. And actually, since he's qualified through, he's had an average of a
55.
ton.
Justin, you require
With
40.
the 2-ton plus check against Mike Norton. And is making quite close order of this game. Surely a nice guide. There's no way that
Gauge on
third
the
dart was
second
missing.
leg.
1-1.
Justin Smith. Third leg, it's Carlo to throw first. $58. 100. 137.
Carlo came here to the Super Series. Was just happy to be here. So it's been a bit of a dream come true. It's been a regular programme he watches on a regular basis. And he's back at home and he's having some downtime or putting it on while he has having a bit of practice.
99.
Hoping one day to be on that stage, and well, Saturday night was the goal. He's there now. I wonder if he reevaluates that and reassesses that now and starts thinking about
100.
the possibility of winning the week. Certainly shown enough flashes to suggest he's going to be competitive tomorrow night.
96.
7:30, the action gets underway tomorrow night on the Super Series
97.
YouTube channel.
Carlo, you require 111.
And look, even though both players are through, you don't know whether these two are going to meet at some point tomorrow evening. So
87.
what you don't want
Justin,
to
you
do
require
is give
145.
the other person a heads up because you've lost the previous meeting. Oh, he could be on for another. It's tops for what would have been
105.
yet another ton topper.
Carlo, you
He's
require
had 2 in the
24.
last game. He's missed 2 here. Shuffles across. Kisses it off the
Game
barrel, and
further.
any kind of deflection would have meant it found a way in. But Justin Smith is enraged with himself.
Full flag, it's Justin to throw first.
He's missed 2 darts
Game
to
on.
break. At the end of big combinations, 1 the 160, 1 the 145. Really does want to fill up that box tonight, doesn't he?
100.
161 and a 164 already gone.
$140.
And remember, Carlo Van Peer wins 1 more leg. Andy Boulton wins the group.
100.
Smith needs a 4-2 win if he's going to be top of the pile at the end of proceedings here.
57. $180.
Second max of the game for Justin Smith. That makes him the biggest 180 hitter of the group.
Justin,
Takes
you've
that
got 121.
accolade away from Lee Cox. Justin Smith, 11 maximums across his 10 fixtures, and he's not done yet. He may still add to that box.
55.
And so 66 to square this game up at 2 apiece. It's what I like to call the
125.
Lightning McQueen
Justin, you've got
checkout.
66.
The Route 66. But there'll be no ka-chow.
Required 56.
It's tops. Great chance here.
36.
Doesn't go, and so Justin Smith to square up at 2-2. And this may be the last chance he gets to keep his hopes of topping the group alive.
Game's
He
on the
pins
full
it.
flag.
He levels
Justin
it.
Smith.
It's 2-2.
Fifth leg, it's Carlo to throw first. $100. $100.
Exchange of tons at the beginning of the 5th. And this group began with a 4-3 win for Justin Smith against Carlo Van Peer. Is it going to end with a last leg decider?
60. $140.
Great visit from Van Peer. He moves first to a finish.
Great performance from Van Peer. Showing us what he is truly capable of.
100. Carlo, you've
He
acquired
did this yesterday as well in the last game, didn't he? And 95.58 was his average in fixture number 4.
89.
He's around about that same sort of mark here.
$140.
And the way Justin's been threatening finishes, the suggestion would have been for Van Peer to take out the 32. He does. 13 darter. And he's a leg away from the match. And so that means Andy Boulton is the Group B winner.
$100. $58. 60. 43. 100.
Starting to get the look of a game that's going to go the distance. It went the distance earlier on with Justin Smith, and he pulled out a biggie when he needed it most.
100. 140.
He's been teasing us to another big finish, but he's going to get 6 starts here this time at the 141.
100.
It's going to come back for a single to double. To send us the distance, to get our money's worth.
$39.
And that means that Vampire will not leave a finish. And so that means Smith had a couple of pokes to take it out if he wanted to. He only needed a couple of darts. We go all the way. Nice little acknowledgement from the pair ahead of their final battle of the evening. Very friendly acknowledgement from Justin Smith.
140.
So good with the throw, hasn't he, Carlo Vampire? And certainly after that sloppy last leg, to kick off with a big 140. Very commendable performance.
100. 80.
Well, for the second time in the space of 3 visits, Vampire has had a rejection.
$97.
Up in the offing this one, Matthew. Until then,
180.
Immaculate timing for a max for Carlo Vampire.
100. Carlo Vampire, 101.
For the match, he's got 6 from 101 to complete the job.
61.
And he is going to set up tops after 12. Smith can only hit and hope. Can only hit. And then find some hope, but he can only find the solitary tongue.
40.
So to complete victory, it doesn't go. Justin Smith has threatened ton plus shots throughout the course of this game. Is he going to finish with 1?
Nervy darts there from Carlo. Oh, he should get a dart. I think he's just contemplating the possibility of going for the 4 here to go safer. Just in case he missed the 12, he squeezes it in.
But he cannot find the double 16. He just did not look set.
Carlo, you require 40.
And it could be set to shake the hand of Carlo Vampire. He's on his knees. And there's a reason as to why. Because Carlo Vampire has beaten Justin Smith by 4 legs to 3. He's through, but you can tell by the facial reactions as if the story would have been of an opposite proportion. But Vampire is through. Justin, it's done! It's done! It's over! It's over, man! It's over! Vampire wins 4-3. 87.93 the average in the end in that particular encounter. Right, we're going to take a short break. We're going to have a chat with Carlo in a few seconds' time about this evening's action. So do join us in just a jiffy.
Right, welcome back to the MODUS Super Series, where the evening's action has been completed. Myself and Matthew Edgar has been watching all of the action in the commentary box, and these are the results from the matches that we have seen then so far this evening. So, there we go. It began with a 4-2 win for Mike Norton. Justin Smith and Andy Boulton, well, they made it very, very routine for themselves, didn't they, in the end?
They've been the two sort of standout players before we even got started in this group, and they've played some quality stuff throughout the night. Andy Boulton looked a little bit tight at the start of the night, but actually when he qualified, we actually started to see the best from him. And then that third performance from Justin Smith, two players that gave us some real good standout moments.
Well, the other man that made his way through was Carlo Van Peer. Carlo, many congratulations into Saturday night on your debut. Just sum up your emotions right now.
Really over the moon, especially like I've been playing well all week long, and today I came in, I was like prepared, I was ready to go. I needed a couple of wins, but yeah, to qualify eventually, I think I deserved it, and can't wait for tomorrow.
How tight did that feel though at times this evening?
Really tight, because I lost my first match 4-2 and the second one 4-3, but I was like playing well, but not at the standard like yesterday, like scoring wise. But I know like my leg difference wasn't like that bad afterwards. So it's like if I get like a couple of wins in between, or someone can do me a favor by beating someone who was like close to me. But yeah, it was tight.
It was very tight. Matt, you've been watching all of the action. What's impressed you the most about Carlo Van Peer?
The sort of level-headed, not getting drawn into sort of situations, even though we know how much this sort of meant to you in regards to getting through to Saturday night. Sort of the goal before you even came here, wasn't it? Sort of get through however it was, Group A, B, C.
When I came here, my first goal was eventually, of course, like the first thing I want to do is like show people who I am, and not about like Barry, because everyone knows Barry, right? And I played really well all week, so it's like let's see where this ends. A really good Group A campaign, I believe. I'm really happy to go to Group B, so that was like a side goal of me, at least getting into Group B, because if you have that, you have played a consistent Group A, or else you can't reach Group B. And after the couple of wins yesterday, I was like, there's more in the tank. I reach finals night now, so now I'm here, and tomorrow's a free one.
You mentioned Barry. Does that cast a shadow for you, does it? Do you sort of feel in his shadow a little bit?
No, not really a shadow, but you know what he's achieved here and what he's done last year, and people know I can play well, but they never see me play, you know? And this week I really thought, I was like, this is my opportunity to show everyone what I can do, what I'm capable of. I got good results last year, like at Denmark quarterfinal in the Masters, stuff like that. Getting close to the qualifying for the MODUS, the ADC in Holland. But yeah, no, I took my opportunity to play here, and I showed everyone what I can do, I think. So.
Absolutely.
Does that add a pressure though? Not for maybe other people, but within yourself though, when you come here to try and perform?
Not really though, because the last few weeks I've been playing like really well, like locally and such, and tournaments, and in my Super League team, and in every other match I win my singles all the time, like high averages all the time. It's like, just show it here, you know? Like everyone can play behind cameras and such, so it's like, this is all new for me. Cameras, TV, live streaming, stuff like that. So it took a few games to get used to, but I was feeling really comfortable after that. So.
If he was feeling pressure, it wasn't showing. You asked what the key quality was that Carlo's demonstrated this week. It's certainly that, staying cool and calm under pressure and delivering the goods as if every single moment was just playing down the local, just playing in the bedroom. That's a key quality that he's shown this week.
You said at the beginning of the week, all you want to do is get through to Saturday. You said it was a dream to play here. Now you're into Saturday. Is there a little bit of you that begins to dream?
Yeah, of course. Now you start thinking, not thinking about it, but the thing is, if you win a couple of games tomorrow, you win not life-changing money, but you win a really nice amount of money for yourself, and you're representing yourself so well. Because if you win the week, you need to play a high level all week long. But just see from tomorrow how it goes. I've got nothing to lose now, so.
It's a busy day for the Vampire family because Barry's going to be playing in the afternoon in Belgium. You're going to be playing in the evening. Are you going to be watching each other then tomorrow?
Yeah, 100%. I'm going to my bed, wake up, and the first thing I probably do is like watch Barry in the afternoon against Jenny Clayton. So.
Well,
hopefully a good day for the Vampires tomorrow.
Well, fingers crossed. Well, Barry's on it for. Maybe you win it as well this tomorrow evening. Thank you so much for your time, Carlo. Matt, well, we got to the point now, haven't we, in the week where we know the Saturday night finals. This slide here, Carlo, is going to paint a very good picture for you because this is how tomorrow's going to break down. We saw Conor Heenahan win Group A, Andy Boulton, Justin Smith and Carlo winning through Group B, and then Darren Armstrong and Danny Jansen through Group C. And this is how the groups break down for tomorrow evening. Conor Heenahan, Danny Jansen, Justin Smith in Group 1. That's almost laughably good, the way they played this week.
Two good groups, two quality groups. I'm watching Carlo's reaction as well here, nodding along. You happy with that?
Yeah, what I'm most impressed of this week is a whole Group A, besides Lubin, no disrespect to him. He's a fantastic guy. Just didn't have his week, but the rest of our group all qualified for finals night. Yeah. Like that means you have a very tough Group A, you know. So we see from there. So.
It's the maximum amount you can have through to a Saturday night as well through Group A. So certainly selectors did a very good job on picking this week. Carlo, many congratulations. We'll see you in the finals tomorrow night. We'll see you in the finals tomorrow night, Matt. And we'll see you for the finals tomorrow night as well here at the Super Series. We kickstart our coverage from 7:30. We'll be through to a close at around about 11:15 tomorrow evening to see who's going to join Reece Robinson at Champions Week. And guess what? We're also going to have a little bit of X Factor tomorrow night. Bye from us.